Good stuff. Do you guys have an episode on your early stages? That was
So that's it. So I interpret.
Shout out to Will Bray for the message.
Thanks for listening. Hope you subscribed. I'm going to check later. And if you're not, we're not going to air this episode. I interpret that as early stages of the business, not early stages of like my career leading into the business.
Yeah.
How do you interpret that?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest.
I reckon we can talk about the early days of business.
Yeah.
So, first of all, day one. Do you remember day one?
Me?
Yeah.
Of course.
Day one, it's like, when I say day one, it's the first month. So how pumped.
You're very excited.
Let me.
What was your biggest problem at that time?
I call myself director or CEO.
Do you have a name badge? No, there's no one here.
You get a plaque on my desk.
You know what I mean? I clocked on, got a clocking machine. But honestly, so I'll tell you what I had the biggest problem with going out on my own. So prior to doing what we're doing now, I had done some work prior, but it was never full time, right? The only thing I'd done where I was like full time and had freedom, because there is a level of freedom that comes with business.
Yeah.
In the sense of there's also a level of responsibility that can take away your freedom too.
Yeah, of course.
Having full control of your time, I didn't know what to do with my time. Because I'd worked in real estate before, and real estate has a level of, like, once you're established, they kind of like come in when you want, go when you want. Like, you know, you can not be in the office, they don't know where you are, you're on the road, you're doing stuff, you're in meetings, they don't know where you are, right? So there's that level of having your ideal week and controlling your days and blah, blah, blah. So when I first started the business, I'd like work off a list. I still work off a list till now. But I remember not knowing what to do with my time, like, and feeling like I'm not getting enough done because I was like, oh, do I do this? And I'll do that. And I've got to do this. And it's like, and I would jump in between tasks, and I had zero structure and zero understanding of how to get the most out of my time. Like, I was so all over. I remember turning to my coach at the time and saying, hey, like, I've never had full control of my time like this. Like, I need some structure here. Like, I need some help. You know, I need some.
So did you have a coach early on?
Me?
In your business?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I did.
That's great. It's very rare for someone to have a coach day one on business.
I also had a coach in real estate.
Yeah. And again, also really rare as an employee.
Yeah, I was an employee. Yeah. And I was forking out my own savings to get a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I was
doing things differently. Yeah, I remember. I know.
I was 24 years old. And I was like, this is go time, man. Like, I need now. You know what the most bizarre thing is? In a few months, I'll be able to say that was 10 years ago.
You're old.
That's bizarre.
Getting old.
But I remember thinking, this is go time. And what you do in real estate's a fairly high ticket. You know, you can make anywhere between sort of average commission might be like $10,000 or $15,000.
Is this a year?
Commission.
Yeah, but on a single property?
Yeah.
What could someone make in real estate, like from an annual salary point of view?
You could make.
How long's a piece of string?
Yeah, you could. There's real estate agents making over $1 million. Yeah, 100%. People
as an employee.
As an employee.
Yeah.
Yeah. People doing, but that is like 0.01%. And that is like the guy who's running an operation that's been in the same area with the same brand, built a massive personal brand. Everyone knows him.
Yeah.
Has a team of 5 people, pays salaries, and he might be bringing in $4 million of business into the company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And he's like not many of those. I used to follow them, see what they do, watch interviews. But yeah, I remember thinking, this is go time, man. I had to, dude, like my first coach, it was $1,200 a session.
Yeah, right.
$1,200. Yeah.
As an employee,
As an employee, I paid $1,200 a month. And I was like, you know what? Let's look at this across the year. It's 15 grand. If this guy gets me 2 listings, he's paid for himself. He's paid for himself and put money back in my pocket. Do you know what I mean? That's all he has to do. So I was like, okay, like if not now, then when? my whole thing in life has always been like, you're drowning slowly, let's drown fast. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck it. Drowning slow is the worst way to drown.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're better off passing out quick. And hopefully someone saves you or you die.
Single swim.
Move fast.
That's it.
Yeah, so that was the first time I hired a coach. And I remember going back to my coach when I started this business and said, hey, I'm all over the shop, dude. Like, I'm jumping from this to that to this to that. And then the end of the day comes and I feel like I haven't done anything, but I've like moved the needle slightly on a bunch of things, but nothing's been completed. And I think that's something I noticed with my team now too. And now I sit down with them and I create structures. I say, hey, Monday morning, we do this. Monday, you know what I mean? This is our goal for Mondays. This is Tuesdays. We leave gap time because shit comes up. We know this. Wednesdays is what we do on Wednesdays. And then I'll live my life like that. Yeah, that was my biggest problem when I first started.
Yep. Mine would have been, well, I realized this throughout the process. I didn't have a process to qualify clients. And I was just pricing anything and everything that came through the door. Like if you have a pulse,
that's normal. When
I think it is when you first start as well. And I said this the other day because I had a mentee who's just starting his business as well. And I'm like, the ideal client is anyone that has a pulse at the moment. You just got to get revenue through the door. You got to get you got to get money.
We'll take anything.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. It's like, oh, I want to specialize in this. Okay, it doesn't matter. If you still do the other jobs, and when you get the job that you want to be doing, showcase that. But do the other projects until that time.
Yeah, I tell people
it's the same thing. Yeah. I said to him, I said, don't be discouraged. Like you've got to grind. Yeah, you're starting. There's no shame in you going and doing. Like he's like, I want to do new builds. Like, do a deck. Yeah, go build a $50,000 deck. Like, could you do that? Yeah, absolutely. I'll fucking do that. You'll make a quick 20 grand in 3 weeks.
Dude, I always tell people that as well. Like they want to. They have nothing to showcase, no social proof, no proof of concept, nothing to like, no testimonials.
Yeah.
And you're like, so you want to start on new builds? Like that's very difficult.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you don't have proof that you can do a new build.
That's right. So that's what he was telling me. He's like, oh, should I run ads? I said, you're probably
very hard.
Like, yeah, you need to build brand first. Yeah. You got to build some brand and get that on the trot before you start looking at that. That's when I really when I started a business is when I started looking at brand. That was one of my first things that I was looking at, like not over the top at the beginning because I still didn't completely understand it back then when I first started the business. But as it kept going on and people started to engage and do that, I saw the importance of it. But, for me, the first thing that I noticed was, look, I was busy. I always worked big hours. Like, for me to come in and start working, 6 to 6 or whatever it was, no issues. I didn't have any kids at the time, and I was able to invest that amount of time, effort, resources into the job. I had secured a project, but the next thing for me was to secure the next project and the next one after that and the next one after that. So that was probably my biggest stress is in making more money in my business than what I would going out and being employed by someone. Because I could have, at that stage of my career, probably could have gone out and got a job close to 200K a year. High hundreds, maybe low twos, depending which company I was working with. So I could have been on a pretty good wicket had I not been in business myself.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the golden handcuffs. We've spoken that before. I kind of had that there, and then it was for me, okay, now I'm going to step out and do this myself. But yeah, initially, when you're first starting out, I think you've got to swallow your pride a little bit. All right. Don't believe the hype of, oh, I'm director, I'm a hotshot. You need to get your hands dirty like a motherfucker. You got to do everything. Not many people will inherit a business where it's got 10 mil turnover day one. All right. Most people realistically, no matter what it is, you're going to start off with 1, 2, 3 clients. Okay. And depending how long that contract or that period is going to go for, depends on the business, but you're generally going to start off pretty slow, whether you're a cafe owner, whether you're a builder, whether you're in marketing, whatever it is.
What would you do different, knowing what you know now? What would you, like, if you could go and say, hey, I'm going to, tweak, like I can go and pull some levers from when I first started. What are you going to change or do different or tell yourself? Like,
let's pretend now I'm starting from zero. Like Mr. Beast says this as well. And I love it. I love Mr. Beast. Shout out. Like, let's get him on the podcast.
Do you watch Beast Games?
I started watching it. Yeah, I think it was up to
Sick.
episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I love the psychology. I love watching these games, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching what he's doing. I'm like, he fascinates me and what he's done.
He's brilliant.
Brilliant.
So I
Brilliant.
think, you know what it is? He's 25, whoever he is. I think people look at him and think, oh my God, 25. What they don't understand is he's got 13 years in the game.
That's right.
Yeah, he's not an overnight success.
No, he was doing this every single day for like 3-4 years.
Also,
years.
he was willing to do what we're going to
Sabi was there.
He was willing to do what most people weren't, and that is posting videos publicly while he was in high school, which everyone's too ashamed to do. And most people were like, I'm not going to, like, especially in high school, you're like, what do you think of me?
And back 13 years ago, it was not as socially acceptable to be posting, hey guys, this is what I'm doing today.
Yeah, and he was doing like, have you seen, he did a video saying Logan Paul for like, I think he says Logan Paul 10,000 times in a row. Logan Paul, Logan Paul, Logan Paul, Logan Paul.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know how long it is. It's ages. And he just sits there saying Logan Paul over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And he was like posting that. He was like just trying to do anything
that will get attention.
To get attention. Yeah. He's like, whatever. Like, and good, big fan.
Yeah. So going back on what he was saying, on what I was saying with him, he reckons, and he said this openly, he goes, if I started a new YouTube channel today, not using my name, not using my resources, he goes, I'll grow it to 20 million followers in 6 months.
Yeah. That's a big call.
Well, he's cracked the code, right? He knows the game. He knows exactly what he needs to be doing to get the eyeballs, the subscribers, the works. So knowing what you know, can you crack the code now? So if I was to go out and start a new construction company today, what would I do?
No, but yes, they're different questions.
Yeah.
Because you today are not the person who is sitting in the...
Sorry.
So
okay.
it's like,
so you're saying,
I've
got the experiences.
Hey, yo, do this, bro. Like, hey, this is the thing. I would do this at the start. Not, of course, if you now start, like if you had to be in the position you're in then, but you're this guy now, of course you're going to do way better.
So you just asked me, what am I going to do differently?
Yeah. Like what are you going to tell
myself,
George, that was starting?
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't do this, or focus on this, or do this thing.
I'd say for me in my business, again, because I'll be specific about construction, I would say one of the best things I implemented into my business was qualifying my clients, because I get a lot of people. I was getting a lot of inquiries coming in, which is like, oh, great, how good's this? And again, anyone with a pulse, I was quoting a job. Like, you want me to quote? Absolutely, I'll quote it. That took me 6 weeks to price a project, because I would price it properly. I was told time and time and time again, I was the best tender. They wanted to work with me. They loved me. They loved my company. Like, they wanted to work with me, but people also want to buy a Ferrari. Doesn't mean they're going to go in there and buy a Ferrari. They're going to go and buy, whatever they're going to buy. It could be even like a Mercedes, or like go get something expensive, but it's still not the Ferrari. It's not a Lambo. They can't go in the dealership and go, I really like your product. I really want to buy it. Can we spend 3 days me test driving the car, me speaking with you, sending emails back and forth, checking my finance, completely knowing that I can't afford it, and then waste your time for 3 days and not buy the car and then go buy a Honda. All right. I would probably go back and say, have a process in place to qualify people and your projects coming through the door, because I wasted too much time on that. I priced up, I figured it out many years ago. I think it was about $23 million worth of work. And I secured, I think 2 of those projects. So maybe 3 mil, let's say, of all those projects I priced. And to me, that strike rate was way too low. And how much time, effort I invested in that. Do you know what I mean? So if we go...
Do you think that's was there any benefit that came from it though? Like,
yeah, look, there was, yes. I did refine the process as well. So there was that aspect, but I already knew how to do that. And you refine in everything you do. Repetition obviously makes it second nature. So yes, there were benefits there, but it was also a lot of time that I'd spent, on the grind, doing the tenders, doing the takeoffs, doing everything I needed to do, which probably took me away from focusing on quality clients or quality projects that I could have done, or speaking to people I should have been speaking to. I'd reach out to my power base a bit more, the group of people or individuals that I know could help me on that journey, be it people I once worked with at other companies, be it consultants, architects, engineers, past clients, current clients, sort of trying to feed the funnel in that way. Look at brand after the first couple of years, really start to invest in maybe marketing, ads, branding a bit more. I did early, but not as like, what could I say? What could do it?
You're always going to,
how do I
always look
tripled?
back.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's right.
You know, oh yeah, I wish I did this much earlier.
Exactly right. If I created the type of content today 10 years ago, you'd be calling me Mr. Beast. You know, you'd be called Mr. George. So
Top G.
Top G. I'd be the OG, the original.
What was it? Top George.
G.
Top George.
The original Top George.
George.
Top George. So
if you like that clip and you want to watch another one, click just over here. And if you want to watch the full episode, click just over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.